time it is. It's that official time. When we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the power slam and pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really could have devoured him. And from that point, then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change brains. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Power Slam show. Let's go! Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
You are now listening to the Pancakes and Power Slam show by Crave Wrestling on Blog Talk Radio. Be sure to follow Crave Wrestling on Twitter at Crave Wrestling and join the Facebook fan page Crave Wrestling.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Hey, we are getting everything live, getting prepared for my guy, Nick Patrick, and everything set up here. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Episode 387. This is Chris Featherstone. This is the Pancakes and Power Slam show. We are live and living color, getting funky like a monkey, if you will, baby. We're live, pal. As Jim Ross would say, good old JR, Stone Cold. So, just got finished talking to Nick. He is about to come right on the line. He was on the line. He dropped off. About to come back on. Waiting for him to come on. As soon as he comes on, we are ready to go. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to go. This is episode 387. Like I said, all hands on deck. What's up, the leader? What's up, Brandon? As the PNP Nation rolls in, we're going to talk about one of my favorite. Actually, I think this is really. I had a conversation with a couple of good friends about this a few weeks ago, actually right after SummerSlam, and we were talking. We talked. I said this on the show before. We talked for three and a half hours after SummerSlam, and we were just getting into some really good conversations. And one of the questions one of us posed was, "What's your favorite wrestling moment?" And I said, for me, hands down, was you have my favorite wrestling match was Sting beating Ric Flair, Great American Bash 1990. That was my favorite match. But my favorite feel-good moment was certainly 1992. Ron Simmons defeating Vader, and I mean that moment. I mean, what 17 years later, to the month actually happened this month. 27 years ago, 1992, 27 years ago, it happened to the month, and I mean there was just even 27 years later. I remember it happening then, 27 years ago. And even to this day, there's still something that just, I mean, the little kid in me just comes, it's just still such an amazing moment. Definitely my biggest feel-good moment of all time, and just absolutely incredible. You know, it was so funny. I watched that moment again, and I was like, wait a minute. That's Nick Patrick. I did not know all this time. I did not know that Nick Patrick was the referee for that. I mean, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to get him back on the show. So I called him up, and we've in a very short time, he's become a buddy, and he's really cool, man. So he was more than willing to do it, and he was, and I was like, okay, let's do it, and now he's back on, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about just that historic moment, the amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, that was my mark out moment. That was probably my one of my biggest, other than Sting and Flair, Great American Bash, my biggest mark out moment. And even seeing it to the day, like I said, even seeing it to the day, I still have that same feeling as I did 27 years ago. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is an amazing discussion to talk about, and I'm so glad to bring him back on the show because, like I said, I didn't even know all this time. I didn't even notice. I was like, that's Nick Patrick. I gotta bring him back on the show. So let's bring him back on the show to talk about this. And like I said before, Nick Patrick has started to be one of my favorite guests. So he, Lord willing, he'll be back on more times. He has a plethora of information, like 40 years of information to share, and I'll be calling him back I'll be calling him back again when I see different things and different memorable moments. And I said, wait a minute, that's Nick Patrick again. So we're going to talk about Ron Simmons tonight. Nick, how you doing tonight, man?
I am doing great, man. Good to talk to you again.
Absolutely. Good to have you on the show, man. It was, like I said before, it was that moment to me was just absolutely incredible. And it's funny that all this time, and when I saw you, I said, wait a minute, that's Nick Patrick. So I had to call you back on, man.
Yeah, that was one of those electric moments where everything gets so wild and it's so loud and so out of hand. It's like the Undertaker's intro when you're in the middle of the ring. It gets so loud that you can actually feel the sound. It's almost like being in a drag race. You ever been in a drag race and when they go roaring by you, and you can almost feel the sound.
Yeah,
that's how it is, and that's how that moment was.
Yeah, and okay, so let's talk about just before it all came to pass. So I know you as the referee, you were involved in the the discussions a lot of the times and things like that as far as the layout of the match and everything. So who was the agent for that match? Who kind of put that match together?
I really don't even remember who the agent was for that match, to be honest with you. It's been it's been so many years ago.
27.
I watched it back. I watched it back this morning because I knew we was going to be talking about it tonight. And and it was amazing how if you watch it now again, back then guys got together and worked. They didn't sit down for 5 hours and discuss, okay, my music's going to play and I'm going to step through the ropes and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. They went out and a lot was work and ad lib. And so they had a basic structure as to what they wanted to do. And they knew what the outcome they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You want to work backwards when you're lining up a good match.
Yeah. And I'm glad you did that too, so you could just really experience it like me, because that moment, like I did.
Oh yeah. Cause that was an awesome moment. That was one of the moments that I'll always remember too. Because Ron's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a good story later. A really good that kind of led up to this particular match. It's actually my favorite Ron Simmons story.
Ooh, okay.
I'll lay it on you if you want to.
Yes, absolutely.
It all happened back when WCW did a joint promotion with New Japan, and Ron and Butch went over and was our tag team champions for WCW. And they worked with the New Japan tag team champions, which was Vader and Bigelow at the time.
Yep.
So back in the day, and especially even before our day, when you went over to Japan, it was a whole different experience. They worked, but it was a different culture.
Yeah.
And they would actually, they would try you. And they would be stiff, and they would be beating the mess out of you. And if you didn't hit them back and beat them up right back, then they didn't have any respect, and you wouldn't. That's how guys got over.
Yeah.
That's how Hanson and all those guys, man, they were just waylaying on people, and that's what got them over. So that's kind of what was expected. So anyway, to get back to it. It's a different culture. So here's the Japanese promotion. They've got their champions, and it's their WrestleMania for them. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they told their champions to guzzle up our guys and didn't tell our guys. And I'm the ref for it, right? And I don't even know who the agent was for this match. I think it was just, because it was a joint promotion thing. It was just like an agent from representing our company coming, they all met in a room and kind of just laid it out to what they wanted.
Yeah.
So anyway, now it's match time. And it starts off, Vader's in the ring, and now Leon he was close to 400 pounds. He was a monster.
Yeah.
And he starts off with Butch. And they do a spot or so, and they did a little thing where he reversed Butch into the corner, and he come in with that Vader splash in the corner. Mm-hmm. But he came with it. And I mean, and if you take a splash in the corner, if you're not set right, man, it hurts bad.
Yeah.
But Butch was even set right. But now here's this 400-pound guy, and he was shooting with it. And he came and he squashed poor Butch. Oh my goodness.
Wow. And
you could just see, he just went, oh. Well, Big Ron says, hey, tag me in. And that's exactly what Butch
that sound
did.
like him, too. Tag me in.
And so now here comes, tag me in. Well, here comes Big Ron. And it wasn't like a bull. They kind of, they faced off with each other. They did a little half circle. And then just like I always knew that Ron was a big, strong, fast, incredible athlete because of his football career. And if you ever seen any of his football, then you knew. But I'd never seen anybody as big and as strong, as fast, and up close as what I was just about to witness. Leon and Ron looked like they were going to lock up, but instead Ron shot a double leg real quick. Mm-hmm. And got Leon up over his shoulder and squat lifted Leon up into the air and has Leon over his shoulder now. Now, nobody in Japan has seen anybody do this to Vader. Yeah. And you could hear the whole crowd. Now, the Egg Dome was completely sold out. They had chairs on the ground on the baseball field. It was a sea of Japanese people. And when Ron did that to Leon and had him up in the air, everybody went, oh, you could hear it gasp, and then all of a sudden, you know that finish that Bob Holly used to do to guys where he'd get them up over their shoulder and do that slingshot, the whip thing down onto the
Alabama
mat.
Slam?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Ron did to Leon, only it was a shoot. It was not prearranged. It was not choreographed. It was not talked about. Ron shot in like greased lightning and had him on his shoulder and squat lifted Leon, who was 400 pounds at this time, and just drove him through the mat. And you could hear, I bet people in Korea could hear that whole building went, ooh, you know, that sound that when everybody was like, oh my gosh, there was no possible way anybody could have done anything for the whole rest of the night to top that moment.
Wow.
And for the whole rest of the match, they were light as a feather. And what cracked me up, the funniest part of the whole thing was Big Bam Bam was on the outside, and he looked in and yelled at Ron and Butch. He goes, hey, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm working. and he stayed loose, and for the whole rest of the match, but our boys didn't get guzzled.
Yeah, wow, that's so. Was that in '92 as well, or was that in '91?
I'm not sure exactly what year it was. It was whatever year that WCW did the joint promotion.
Was it the Korea
Japan
thing
over in the Egg Dome?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was an Egg Dome show.
Gotcha. Okay, because Doom was 90, right? Like 90, 91.
Yeah, I think so. And they were our champions at the time. I'm pretty sure, because that was how they billed it: our champions against their champions.
Got it.
But it's a different culture, you know, and the office was, I guess they were sitting back, you know, I guess they were licking their chops thinking that they had pitted the American boys against each other and was going to get a good show. And
yeah.
They got a good show. It just didn't last real long.
Right.
They were expecting this big shoot and people beating each other, hammering each other, and Big Ron put the squash on that like in a heartbeat. It was like, it was so unbelievably quick that I was like, oh my goodness, this dude here he's like a cat. It was cool to see. It was cool to be a part of.
That is.
It
really
was cool to feel that entire crowd just go, ooh! You know, it was like they'd never seen anybody do that to Vader.
Yeah.
And Ron scooped him up like he was a sack of groceries. Man, it was unbelievable.
That is really cool. It looks like March 21st, 1991, New Japan WCW Starrcade, Tokyo Egg Dome, 64,000 fans.
Well, if there's any way you can view that, I just told you the story, and you'll see the bump. Know that was not choreographed, prearranged, talked about. That was Ron Simmons saying, "No, you're not going to guzzle us."
Right, that's right.
Yes, sir.
So that's a really interesting story. Now, do you think that prompted WCW to look at Simmons as a legit main event guy at all? Like, what was it about Ron Simmons? Now, for me, I mean, you know, he had the story, you know, Florida State All-American, you know, I mean, you know, as a black male myself, he had that cultural influence as well, diversity, things like that. So he had the story behind him. So it was a really easy story to write. But who was it? Was Watts in charge at that time, or did Bischoff take over, or was it Hurd? No, Hurd was.
I'm not really sure because they rotated people in there for a while, like a revolving door at WCW. No, they had a new boss, and sometimes there'd be a wrestling guy that came from wrestling, and sometimes there'd be an accountant guy that come from accounting, and sometimes it'd be somebody that came over from TNT, and you you never knew. You had to be nice to everybody because you wasn't quite sure who the boss was.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that was around 91, 92 was just that revolving door time when you had Watts, Hurd, Bischoff, you know, kind of taking over. I think Hurd may have still been in charge because I think that was because Flair left and joined, you know, WWE 91, won the 92 Royal Rumble, because I know that him and Hurd had some issues going on. So that would be interesting. So if Hurd was 1988 to 1992 is when Hurd took over. was in charge of WCW.
So he would have still been in charge then when we went there, yeah.
Yeah, and then, okay, so he resigned on January 8th, 1992. It was replaced by Kip Allen Fry. Who's that?
He was another guy that was in the revolving door.
Really?
He was there for a minute. He didn't last very long. Yeah, he was a corporate guy. He wasn't a wrestling guy.
Got it. Okay.
He was more of a corporate advertising type guy.
Got it. And now Watts, I know that he was in charge for a while. From what I've heard, Watts was the go ahead, was the guy who kind of had that, idea to put it on Simmons, because for some reason, so it looks like Watts took over in '92. Kip Fry turned it over to Bill Watts. So Watts was the person who made the decision.
So that probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
he wasn't there very long either.
No, he wasn't. That's true. Yeah, he wasn't. Watts.
He made a lot of enemies.
Did he really? I've heard that too. I've heard that he made enemies, and I've also heard that he also gave, like African American, people opportunities. Of course, JYD.
Oh yes,
South.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
So what made, like, what was about Watts that made enemies? And of course we're going to take questions. People are asking, are you live? Yes, Nick Patrick is live right now. I see some questions. We're going to answer them, but I still want to talk about the Simmons era right now, and then we'll take questions after that. About Bill Watts. What was it, as far as your experience, that made enemies from Bill Watts? What caused that?
He had old school mentality at a time where the business was evolving into new school.
Okay.
And I had worked for him back in the day, and back when it was still territories.
Okay.
And he got along really, really well with my father, but he didn't get along. I got along okay with him, but what happened is I blew my knee out in '85. I was working for him. And I came home to Atlanta, and my first knee surgery was done at the Houston clinic, down at Dr. Andrews, but it wasn't Andrews that did it. It was another doctor that worked with him. So I went back there after I blew my knee out real bad. And I told him that it happened in the ring. And back then, if you got hurt in the ring, it wasn't like working for WCW or WWE. If you get hurt in the ring, they take care of you. They pay you. They pay for your stuff. Back then, if you got hurt in the ring, it was like, dang, kid, I like your work. We'll give you a call. Give me a call when you're better, and you got yourself home. So anyway, I went down there and I had the surgery, and the people that did the surgery, they had a collections agency and lawyers and stuff. Then I told them my story, and they said, well, he's liable for that because it happened in his ring, and he's the employer, you're the employee. It happened on the job. And so they evidently sued him and got the money for my surgery from him. So I would have been one of the first guys that actually had a promoter pay for his surgery.
Wow.
So he didn't like me very much.
Oh, really? Well,
so so we didn't. He did a lot of things to try to make me quit, but I wasn't the one that he was enemy with. He didn't have to worry about me. I was just a referee. Yeah. He had a terrible way of talking to guys and top guys, especially. He wanted to let everybody know that he was the boss and he was in charge.
Yeah.
And one of the ways he made money is he got 10% of everything that he saved the company. So he was cutting guys' pay, cutting this, cutting that, so he could get 1% of it. So he made enemies out of all the guys, and he made enemies out of the corporate people because he was so old school wrestling and still partial kayfabe, and it was all changing, especially WCW. They put bosses in charge that barely even watched wrestling on TV, and let alone. But they were corporate guys, so he didn't. He just didn't get along with people from any end, really. I don't think he had any friends.
Yeah,
but
those are the things.
That's one of the reasons why he wasn't there long.
Yeah, those are the things that I heard too. So, what do you think? what do you think prompted him to give the go-ahead to Ron Simmons as the top guy? Now, it lasted, 3 months, 4 months? So you had it from August to December, so you had a 4-month reign. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I couldn't shoot dates at you, but I knew he had it for. I didn't think it was a year, but because they switched it around a lot at that point in time, and I thought he only had it that one time too.
Yeah, he had one time for 4 months. I think he lost it back to Vader, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it wasn't too long after that he took off and went up to WWE. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it wasn't too long after that. So, I think 96, about 3 years.
Which was a great move for him.
Yeah, I think so too. It was definitely a lot more money, Hall of Fame. So definitely worked out for him. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, what
all you got to do is show up on a vignette at the end of a vignette and hit him with his little catchphrase.
Right.
And he's good to go.
right, exactly. Let me ask you that too. Let me ask you about that. Like, he's known for one catchphrase now, but to me, I mean, it's funny, but as a Ron Simmons fan, it's like, man, it's like
that's him.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like there's so much more of his legacy to be. Now it's just kind of regulated to just one word backstage. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I get it.
For that to be what he's known for is kind of a shame because there was so much more to it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I feel. I get it. It's funny, when it happens. I understand that, but it's like, to me, it's just it's a lot more than that. Yeah. So he won August 2nd, 1992 at Main Event in Baltimore. And then he lost December 30th, 1992 at a house show to Vader in Baltimore. So he had it for almost 5 months, a few days shy of 5 months. So that's not a bad reign. That's not a bad reign at all. So
yeah, that's a good little run.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, what was the backstage feel of when he won? Of course, you had all the people, all the wrestlers come out. Now, as far as from when you were a part of the, the pre-match discussions and things like that, was that kind of in the program for the wrestlers to come out, or was that just a legit shoot?
Yeah, they wanted some guys to come out, but it wasn't hard to get them because once people found out what was going on, everybody liked Ron.
Yeah.
And you could tell there was a couple of guys that was in there to get their face on the camera, but then you could tell there was a couple of guys that was legitimately there because they liked Ron. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And how would you compare that to what we see now? Like we kind of had that moment in WWE this year with Kofi Kingston, just that genuine, feel. Now there was a build up to the Kofi win, and Ron Simmons was kind of out the blue, but it does have similar feels as far as just a really genuine title win that the fans were just organically behind. Why do you think those moments aren't as prevalent nowadays in the WWE? Then after you answer that, we'll take some questions.
I think it's hard to capture those moments because they see so much now. Back in the day, when you hit somebody with your finish, you hit them with your finish, and that was it.
Yeah.
And now guys have to hit somebody with their finish 5 times to beat them.
Right. That's a good point.
And it's it takes away. For me, it was. For me, it was the build-up for that one move, and then the setup. They usually have guys that have a setup move, so you know it was coming, and then just to build that anticipation, and then bam, and now, like I said, there was a couple WrestleManias, big name guys. They ended up hitting each other with their finishes like 4 or 5 times a piece, and kicking out, and and I understand everything's changing, but still, what's next? What do you you shoot them with a bazooka or what? What do you got to do?
Right. That's a good point. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And one thing about the Simmons match is, to your point, is that it had a shock factor too, because it was, Vader lifting him up, him countering it. you know,
it wasn't one of those. It wasn't one of those choreographed move by move. Just he barely kicked out. Oh my goodness! Yes. It wasn't that. It was fairly straightforward.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
And
it was on. And it was
power.
It was a surprise move too, because Vader, you know, he lifted him up. Ron Simmons countered, then the Irish whip, and then he caught Vader off guard with that, you know, that snap power slam, and then he did the quick one, you know, the 1, 2, 3. And the fans were legit shocked. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't expecting Ron Simmons to win the WCW Championship. So not only was it a first-time champ and them having that organic feel to that, but it was a legit shock. The baby face, you know, Vader was dominant at the time. You know, no one could stop him really. And, you know, you kind of slayed, you know, Goliath, you know, so to speak. And then there was just a really organic feel to it. And I really miss those moments. I really do, because those organic feels are the ones that really stand the test of time. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you
they
said,
sure do.
Yeah, like you said, 20. You know, kicking out of your finisher 15, 20 times. That's a dime a dozen. Now. You know what I mean? There's nothing new. There's nothing original about that. But when you have one of those moments where, you know, you cut somebody off guard, the babyface wins on a whim. It maybe 1 out of 100 times it may happen, but this is the one time it happened. Just you know what I mean? Just those type of feelings is what I miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's take some questions here for Nick. Start with Michael. Hashtag Ask Nick. Looks like you guys already have it. Michael's asking, what's the most crazy change finish to a match you were ever a part of?
The most crazy what now? What kind of finish?
Changed finish to a match.
Oh, a changed finish.
Yeah.
I was up in WWE one time, and they talked. It was a match after Batista was with somebody, and I can't recall exactly who it was, but they talked about that match. I mean, all day long, and they had it etched in stone as to what was going to happen, and boom, boom, boom. And I was the ref, and I was outside by the truck talking with Teddy Long, and all of a sudden somebody comes up and says, "Nick, there's a big emergency. I need to see you and Teddy in the office." Blah, 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 because I think Teddy had something to do with the segment. I forgot what it was. And we went in there, and after all day long talking and come all this stuff, they changed it to like a schoolboy. I was like, what? What? A schoolboy? Are you ribbing me? And that's what they did. I was like, okay. Yeah, I mean.
Wow. That is hilarious. Yeah, that after all that, a schoolboy. That does seem like something that,
I mean, they literally talked for about 8 hours about this thing and come up with a schoolboy.
Wow. After all that, a schoolboy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I think it's because Vince got mad and said, well, just do this, you know, because sometimes he'll do things. He's all the time trying to teach somebody a lesson or test their loyalty or whatever, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably where that come from. He probably got frustrated with somebody not wanting something and said, well, just do a schoolboy.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yep, that sounds like it. Lexi is saying, ask Nick, first, thank you for coming back. If given the opportunity, what kind of advice would you give the AEW writers with regards to storylines for the upcoming TV debut?
I'm anxious to see their new upcoming TV debut, honestly. They've got some great young talent, and I really have a lot of time for Jericho. Because one of my favorite matches of all time is the match that I actually had with Jericho when he had one hand tied behind his back at WCW. That was so fun. And we went about 13 or 14 minutes, and it was. And that was all his ideas, you know. He came up with the whole thing, and I knew that he had what it took to become a big star. I just didn't know if he was going to be able to do it there at WCW. And I knew he'd be able to go so far, but I didn't know how far.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that Vince, if he sees talent in somebody, he doesn't care about size. For a while, it seemed like he did. It seemed like only the guys that was getting a real money spots was the great big jacked up guys. But that changed, you know, when he, during the era when he brought in Eddie and Benoit and Malenko and all those guys. That, he saw that there was guys with great talent in different sizes, and he didn't always have to be a monster, to draw.
Yep.
So that opened up, and that changed a lot of things.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I got a few more for you and let you go. I appreciate your time again, man. We got to bring you on as a regular. You're definitely becoming one of the fans' favorite guests. So
I'd love to, man. It's just fun, man.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Appreciate you, man. So Lexi's piggybacking, saying, do you believe that the current viewing audience is craving for the nostalgic attitude and ruthless aggression eras? If so, do you believe the conglomerates of TNT and USA will allow that content as far as just the attitude era, ruthless aggression type of content?
Well, I think that they'll probably end up being at least one character that they let go become edgy, because they kind of need that.
Yeah.
They kind of need that, but I don't see them going across the board with it because they're, especially now, because they're all on major network television, and that's how edgy can you actually get,
Yep. The plan for AEW, as far as I heard, the plan is to stick to more of a family-friendly product on the weekly shows and get edgy on the pay-per-views. That's what I've heard.
There you go.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yep.
Kay Bauer, they pay to see the real violence.
Yeah, exactly. Kay Bauer is asking, are you going to be watching AEW and WWE when AEW debuts?
Well, I will be, because I'm going to be honest with you. If it was just me, I've done so much wrestling. I watch some, but I don't sit and glue myself to it because I got so much going on in my life right now. I've got my oldest son, Nick, is autistic. He's 33 years old, and I take care of him, and he takes care of me. And my parents just now. And I want to shout out to my dad. Tomorrow, the assassin Jody Hamilton turns 81 years old.
Nice.
And
happy
I've
birthday.
been shooting back and forth, Yeah, thank you, man. And my mom's already 81, so I've been shooting back, and they're doing really good. They're still, taking care of themselves in their house, but I'm having to help them out more and more, which is not bad. I'm really blessed to be in a position right now where I can be home to take care of my son and to take care of my parents at this time in their life.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
I'm right where I need to be, and I actually prayed to be in this position toward the end of my WWE run, because I was looking for something to do with my son, and I hadn't found any kind of outside organization other than the things he had at school, and then I ended up finding some, through the county where we live, some different things that he can do, athletically. He was playing baseball and stuff, but the main thing was, if you see me, because you see my stuff on Facebook, I talk all the time about me going to Gold's Gym with my son, and that is the chance that every time we go to Gold's Gym, when we walk through that door, my son gets an opportunity to check autism at the door, because when we first started, he was a little young autistic kid. He didn't know how to do all these things, but he watched and he learned, and he has passed me on lifting on it, which isn't real hard to do. I'm no Ron Simmons. I'm not lifting with Van Vader, but he kicks my rear end, man. And
wow.
So between taking care of Nick, we hit Gold's 3 times a week, and I try to get him doing other things outside of just the gym. That's physical. We swim and we do all kinds of things. We go back and forth and we take care of my parents. But between taking care of my son, and like I said, then taking care of my parents, and I train kids here and there, and do a shot or two here and there. That pretty much consumes most of my time. But I'm right where I want to be, man. I prayed to be in this position where I could take care of my son, and I told God, I said, I don't need to have a whole lot of money. I don't want my son to have to sleep in a car.
Yeah.
But as long as I can keep us going to Gold's Gym and keep bills paid and food on the table, and make sure that I can take care of him and be able to take care of my parents and them not have to go into a home or anything, and me be able to make sure everything's taken care of. And right now, everything has come forward for me.
Man.
So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so encouraging to hear. That you're in a spot like that now after spending so much time, in the business. So kudos to you, man.
But I will be watching to get back to answering that question, because my son Nick is glued to watching wrestling, and he can tell you. Oh, my goodness, he's got the photographic memory. He'll say, "Oh, Jim Duggan said that's a tough way to do it at SummerSlam back in 1998 or something."
Nice.
Wow.
Tough guy.
Oh, man. He is wrestling trivia.
Nice.
He is wrestling trivia.
Oh, man, me and him got to go at it.
So I'm sure he'll be wanting to check the new stuff out, too, because I think he liked Jericho, too.
Nice. Yeah, me and him go.
And it looks like they're going to have a high-impact show with the kids that they got working on, the two main events that they're plugging, that I've seen them plugging for this pay-per-view they got coming up, are going to be high-action, high-impact matches. So it should do well.
It will. Yeah, it should be pretty cool. All right, let's see. Double Clutch is asking about the 1997 Fast Count. We talked about that on the last show. Double Clutch checked out that last show, but just a real quick answer to that. Is, the question was, the Fast Count in Starrcade 97, whose call was it, and did you get any heat for it? Now, you talked about how you kind of went both ways because you were being pulled both sides by people. So
I just kind of split the difference, and nobody got what they wanted, and nobody fired me because they were just happy to get out of the situation.
Yep. Peter's asking about your match against Earl Hebner at Invasion. So your thoughts on that?
Oh, he cheated. He had that dadgum Cactus Jack or that Mick Foley come out and give me the socko. Bunch of cheaters.
Cody's asking.
If it wasn't for that, I'd have whooped Earl Hebner to a frazzle.
Ron Simmons style.
Dadgum right. I scooped him up over my shoulder and gave him that
spine buster.
What was the name of that slam? Alabama Slam.
Yeah, Alabama Slam. Yep.
Yeah. That's the first time I'd ever seen the Alabama Slam in person. I thought, oh my goodness, I hope nobody ever does that to me.
Yeah, talk about bouncing your brain around for sure. Yeah. Some quick answers here. Cody's asking, what was your favorite WCW storyline?
I love the NWO storyline because I got a chance to be a part of it, but it turned WCW around. We were always second place, and then finally we took over and held on for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and it was because of that storyline, that storyline, and the characters that they brought in to surround it. It wasn't just the one particular guy; it was the group of guys, and what it portrayed. It was the original group of guys. They watered it down when they turned everybody into it. Yeah. But when it was just Hulk and it was Scott and Kevin and X-Pac, that was the core. Yep. That's what turned things around right there.
Agreed. Evan from Under the Mat Radio is asking, what is the most common mistake that you see referees do in matches on TV or in the indies? Good question.
It's different. TVs, it's hard. You don't make a lot of mistakes on TVs because if you do, you're not on there for very long. Mm-hmm. And the referee, a good referee, is kind of out of sight until they need you. So I don't really see a whole lot of mistakes on TV. Indie shows, I see a lot of mistakes. Young guys, as referees, letting guys bury them because they're trying to let them get some heat, and you gotta let guys get heat, but you can't let yourself look like a complete moron too, or then you end up with all the heat. Those guys go out there and work for 20 minutes to try to get the people angry at them, and then at the end of the story, they're mad at you because you look like an idiot. Right. Right. So you've got to know how to gauge that and how to cut it off, because a lot of times in the indies, a lot of these young green guys, they don't know. Yep. As long as you'll turn your back, they'll beat on a guy for 20 minutes. They don't realize that the heat comes from sneaking a good one in, and a good one, not a good 5-minute beat down. You know, the ref looks like a moron when he's got it. You know, but one good shot that's stuck in there, and then you act like you didn't do anything. That gets more heat than beating on a guy for 5 minutes with the referee turning. Oh, look, there's a little bird up there in the
right.
You know,
right.
Give me a break.
That's such a good point, man. I wholeheartedly agree with that. All right, so last question for you, Nick. This is from Lexi. Do you believe the lack of referee involvement in today's wrestling storylines is a hindrance to helping talent sell while performing, and how would you infuse them more?
I don't think that Vince is ever going to infuse them more, for the simple reason that the more he interjects referees, you notice they don't put any of us in storylines anymore. You know why? Because they don't want to pay us royalties. Think if I had to pay referees royalties, all the matches that we do. Think if I got paid royalties for all the matches that I've done over all the years, all the title matches, all the WCW stuff, all the WWE stuff, all the Georgia Championship wrestling stuff, all the Continental wrestling stuff. I'd be doing okay. Not that I'm not doing okay. Not that I'm not doing okay. I'm doing quite okay. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, I mean.
Hey, nothing wrong with no extra money.
Think, you know.
Yeah, nothing wrong with.
But anyway,
money.
that's why they're not going to interject referees anymore. They want them to kind of be vanilla and generic so that they don't have to pay royalties to them.
Yeah. All right, Daniel's saying the rumor about Starrcade 97 match finish not going the way it was supposed to be true. So, like, again, Daniel, we talked about that a question or two ago, and then also the other show that he was on a few weeks back. We talked about that in depth, so check that out. But Daniel also says he's a father of a child of a kid with autism, so he's giving you kudos.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, Nick,
tell them to find their strengths and play them up and work on their weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I didn't think it'd go to better. I didn't know if it'd be better than the. I didn't think the first one could get any better, but it did. So I really appreciate you being on the show tonight.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for having me. Anytime y'all want me to come back on and talk about something, hit me up, man. You know where to find me.
There's always something, man. So I'll bring you back on.
All right, brother. Have a good one, man. Thank you.
You too. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Nick Patrick, man. That guy is a plethora of information, if you will. A plethora of information, if you will. So thank you so much, Nick Patrick, for coming on the show tonight. What an awesome time to have Nick Patrick on the show. He's got so much to talk about, man. So thank you so much, Nick, for being on the show. Oh no, it's cool, Daniel. It's cool. Yeah, we talked about that. Thanks for joining us, by the way. First of all, and then second of all, yeah, we talked about that a little bit on this show, and we talked about that extensively on the last time he was here. So just check out that one, and yeah, we talked about the Sting situation extensively on that episode. So go check it out. All right, so I got an announcement, guys. Bittersweet, but before that, we got a sponsor for tonight. We got a really cool sponsor for tonight, actually. So let me bring up the sponsor. And tonight, the show is sponsored. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. My Bookie. The show sponsored tonight by My Bookie. So it's a new season, guys, and Antonio Brown is on the Raiders. Le'Veon Bell's with the Jets. Odell Beckham is in Cleveland. I'm an Ohio fan, so I'm a Titans fan, but I'm like a closet Cleveland Browns fan. Like when we're good, and the Browns haven't been. We've had some seasons. Recently, for a while, we won 0-1 games, but Cleveland is starting to do some things. So the one thing that hasn't changed, though, is where I'm putting my money down on all the games. MyBookie is the place to bet on football every weekend. So listen, guys, MyBookie has better bonuses and more prop bets than any other sportsbook, period. This year, they're hosting the first online handicapping super contest. The first place is guaranteed to win at least $100,000. It only costs $100 to enter. All you got to do is this, guys. Pick 5 NFL games against the spread every week to climb the leaderboard and score your share of the huge prize pool. Here's the thing. And here's the thing. I wouldn't, from what I've seen, and I've seen, sports, MyBookie and things like that. I went over the site and checked them out. It seems like, they're legit as far as just, betting on placing your bets on some games. And the thing is, it makes it even more fun, as far as games are concerned. Now, I'm a really, really bad in fantasy football. But I know that there's pools and things like that, and there's some good things that comes out of that, which makes people play fantasy football and actually enjoy the games even more too. So as you see on the website, some really cool points there. You get the sign-up bonus. You get the possible $100,000. And here's the thing. MyBookie also has live in-game betting on every NFL game. And they've got the most rewarding player perks in the business. And for you fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over-under on how many fantasy points a player will score each game. Isn't that crazy? And so you can get up to $1,000 in first deposit bonus. You can double your first deposit. And to activate this offer, enter the promo code Pancakes. All right, so basically you visit MyBookie online today, as you see with the site. And again, don't forget to use the promo code Pancakes when creating your order account to claim the bonus. So take full advantage of this. Use that promo code of Pancake to get your bonus. And if you're a sports fan like I am, this is the place to be to really enjoy your games and have some fun playing the games. All right. Again, mybookie.com. You see it right there. There's the site. It's showing live as I'm talking right now. mybookie.ag. Once again, that's mybookie, BOOKIE, mybookie.ag, and have some fun watching some sports this year. I'm a big college football fan, and I'm a huge MLB fan, and also I just love sports, period. I love the Titans, love the Indians, love Ohio State Buckeyes, and so here's your opportunity to use the promo code Pancakes to get some money with possibly get some money with watching some sports this year. So have fun, guys, and enjoy it with the promo code of Pancakes. All right. Click that like button, folks, is what Lexi's saying. Amen to that. I agree with that. As a Steelers fan, Cody says, I'm sorry we smack Ohio every year. Like I said, I'm a Titans fan. So, but, got to support my Brownies. So, because I'm an Ohio fan. Now, if the Bengals, made the playoffs a couple years back, and I was, a fan of that with Andy Dalton. So, I was a fan of Ohio team making the playoffs. So, as long as the Ohio team is making it work and doing it and making it happen, I'm okay with it. Because my Titans, we kind of struggle to make we make the playoffs. Recently we almost made the playoffs last year, but we've been kind of reaching that threshold, kind of getting there. I'm hoping that I'm a huge fan of Mike Vrabel being the coach because he's an Ohio State alum, so that's an even bigger tie to Ohio State. so I'm a big fan of that. So again, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code Pancakes. enjoy the season of sports. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in the co-host with the most, Evan Tech Proud. Hey, yo.
What's going on, guys? I'm here. I'm back.
It's survey time.
Home of the AFC North champions, my Baltimore Ravens. Had to throw it in there with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I'm tired of everyone being out. Everybody want to be a Brownie fan.
Right.
Come on, because y'all
People
got
do
OBJ,
yes.
Baker
yes.
Mayfield,
Yep.
and everybody trying to say they going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
This how it is. Number one, I'm glad for the Browns.
Yes.
I'm glad for Cleveland. But you got to put the work in on the field.
True.
So I'm having a prediction myself. I guarantee anyone listening there on live archive that by week 5, Baker Mayfield is going to get upset, say something out his mouth, because he like the Apostle Peter. He run his mouth all the time. Or OBJ is going to run and cry, because he's going to keep getting slapped up in his mouth by the AFC North. So I'm glad for Cleveland, but the AFC North reigning champions of the Baltimore Ravens. And until Cleveland make the playoffs, until the Bengals can win a playoff game.
True.
The two big brothers and the two kings of the AFC North is the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But one thing Cleveland has in common with Baltimore is that here in Baltimore, when you say here in Baltimore and in Cleveland, Ohio, you know I got family in Ohio, everyone here hates John Elway. If you don't know why Cleveland hates John Elway, go back.
Denver
The drive.
Broncos? What does they have? What do they have to do with the Broncos? How's that? What's the correlation there with John Elway?
Well, Cleveland and Baltimore hate John Elway.
Interesting.
Anybody that don't know history know this very quickly. Mike Ryan, listen to you'll know. Baltimore hates John Elway because when John Elway got drafted to the NFL in the draft, you can look this up. It's been documented. John Elway to play for the Baltimore Colts. He did not want to play for the Baltimore Colts, so he went ahead and cried and whined and was sapping and snotting and sniffing, and he went to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
But originally, John Elway was supposed to play for the Baltimore Colts.
Yep.
So anybody that's after the age of 35 in the 40s and 50s hate John Elway. Now, in the 1980s, Cleveland Browns with the 2 straight AFC championships, and y'all could have went to the Super Bowl, but it's something called the drive. And something called the fumble. In 2 straight years, you guys lost to John Elway and the Broncos, and Cleveland hates John Elway.
Unfortunately.
That's something to tell me.
Yeah.
First time ever we did a football intro, but it's good to be here. Good to be back in the mothership.
The mothership. Yeah. Daniel saying Kurt Warner almost felt bad about beating the Titans. See, here's the thing. Why you got to bring that back up, Daniel? That's the closest thing
that
we got to winning the Super Bowl, and that was 20 years ago. So, come on now. Come on, Daniel. Come on, man. Why you got to do that? It's all right. It's okay, though. It's okay. I've been waiting 20 years for that moment to come again. So, yeah, so I don't know. I don't, Mariota, I like Derrick Henry. He has his moments. I'm not too, again, man, I liked Mariota when he was in Oregon. He had some potential when he came to Tennessee, but I don't know, he can get too injury prone, and a lot of times, man, he can get to the point where he's just kind of flaky, man. I wish we had a more solid quarterback. He has his moments, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Oregon and Auburn, the leader is saying go Ducks. Are you from Oregon, the leader? So a lot of trash talking in the PNP chat right now of college football. I mean, it's pro football. The leader saying go Ducks. Oregon goes against Auburn this weekend. That's where game day is going to be at. So that should be pretty fun. Michael's asking, who had the biggest influence on you over the past week? Actually, a pastor friend of mine. Good question. I'm glad. I love when you ask those questions. The leader is from Oregon. Okay, cool. That's cool. That should be pretty interesting to see the game, and it's cool that you're from Oregon. A pastor friend of mine, he has his own church, and he's I loved it. Today we had a really good conversation. He really gave me some awesome encouragement, some awesome connections to really thrust the fourth chapter. He really was able to potentially reduce a lot of my time with gathering the data that I need for my fourth chapter. Last week I received an email, praise God, that I was able to that my form that I fill out to conduct the interviews for my study, that was approved. It took me like months for that, so that was awesome. So I get to start on my fourth chapter. Had a conversation with him about it. He had some connections to get me in some right places, and it can potentially cut a lot as far as just the seeking for the data. So that was awesome. And he really gave me some awesome encouragement. We talked on the phone for a long time today, and he gave me some great encouragement. So that's definitely who the biggest influence was over me for the past week. And my pastor was supportive too. He messaged me yesterday, and he's been supportive of me too. He encouraged me as well. So definitely shout out to my pastor as well. So yeah, all right. So here's the news, guys. Let's drop it since we have all the PNP Nation. Let's see. We got a lot of people watching. It looks like I tweeted all hands on deck, and we got that. Of course, this will be on the replay as well. Okay, so here's the deal. Yeah, as far as the future of the Pancakes and Powerslams show, World Championship Wrestling Syndicate. Where's Nick Patrick? You missed Nick Patrick. WCW Syndicate. He just got off about 10 minutes ago. Check out the archives. It's a really good show too. Awesome. We talked about Ron Simmons, and there were some good questions that were asked. Thanks for joining the chat. All right, so here's the deal. Yeah. So I've been with Wrestling Inc. I've been on and off with Wrestling Inc. for almost 7 years now, on and off. Now I've left, wrote for some other companies, came back, left, came back. And Wrestling Inc. is wanting to. Raj and I, we had a discussion, we had a chat, and Wrestling Inc. wanted to do more Wrestling Inc. branded shows on their audio and video. Pancakes and Powerslams is all mine. It's all my baby. Totally mine. It is independent of Wrestling Inc. Wrestling Inc. Is giving me a platform over the past year and a half to have PNP on the Wrestling Inc. Audio and video, so I'm definitely grateful for that. So this will be the last episode of Pancakes and Powerslams on a Wrestling Inc. platform. Ross and I, we departed very amicably. He wished me all the best, and he encouraged me. He was another person who encouraged me a lot as far as my dissertation is concerned, as far as my doctorate. And it's been a great ride, ladies and gentlemen, as far as being on a Wrestling Inc. platform. However, I actually got an opportunity to be a part of an even greater platform. So check out So it's great. So go check out my Twitter at Chris Prolific, and the platform that it's kind of like one door opens and is a really cool door shuts, even better when door opens in a sense, because the platform that I got an opportunity that I was asked to be a part of is a bigger platform. So I'm really excited about that. So as everything kind of settles out, PNP will not cease. It will be audio, video, until we get everything finalized on the bigger platform. Again, follow me at Chris Prolific to get details on that as far as where it's going to be, when it's going to happen. We're getting everything set up for the launch for that. We will still have weekly video stuff. What you see is still going to be the same. It will be on the Crave Wrestling channel, the YouTube channel. A lot of you, the leader's asking, will I still be on YouTube? Yep, but just about to get into that now, actually. I'll still be on the Crave Wrestling YouTube. I'll be on my Pancakes and Powerslams Crave Wrestling YouTube channel. A lot of times we gather around and do the live reaction shows for the pay-per-views until that bigger platform, until everything finalizes with the bigger platform. We will be with the on my page live, and then after that, the episodes will be also. So every week the episodes will be on the Crave Wrestling YouTube channel. When I get the bigger platform, they'll be not live on the Crave Wrestling. They'll be live on the YouTube platform, but it will be downloaded on the Crave Wrestling YouTube channel. So yeah, it's like I said, bittersweet, but I'm just really thankful for Wrestling Inc. Thankful for Raj, man, for opening up the platform. When I came back to writing for Wrestling Inc., I don't know, about a year and a half ago, he was like, "Yeah, man, I PNP is awesome." He's actually been on the show as a co-host before. So many people use Pancakes and Powerslams interviews to write stories. It's been in Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter many times. The Pancakes and Powerslam show have. It's been many places, several places. So, of course, I've had interviews on Sports Illustrated. I've had interviews on Fox Sports, Bleacher Report. I've written for all of those companies, and my interviews with the Pancakes and Powerslam shows has actually opened opportunities for me to be a part as a freelancer for Fox Sports, Sports Illustrated. So I'm thankful for those opportunities. And like I said, there's an awesome platform that's opening up. It's kind of like one cool door shuts, another cool door opens. So I'm just really thankful for the Pancakes and Powerslam show and all the opportunities over the past 7.5 years that it's opened up for me. I'm so thankful for that. And just the genuine relationship that I've built with wrestlers like Nick Patrick, a prime example, like Nick Patrick. I can just call him up and be like, yeah, absolutely, I want to be on the show, because he really loves the show. George South was another person who was on the show a couple weeks ago. He loved being on the PNP show. And it's like, I'm so thankful for that, because these wrestlers, they get interviews all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and it's one of those things, it's like, man, what's the difference between my podcast and all the other, podcasts come a dime a dozen. Me and Evan talk about this all the time, how Under the Mat Radio and Pancakes and Powerslams, he's been on air for 6 years. I've been on air for about 7.5, almost 7.5. And so when we started, podcasts weren't as popular as they are now. Now,
no.
I mean, podcasts are a dime a dozen now. You know what I mean? So you get them all the time.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were ahead of the curve, and we developed a Rolodex, and we've developed a good Rolodex of knowing wrestlers and being professional, both Evan and I, both being professional with our guests, keeping relationships with our guests, being genuine to our guests. I actually texted a couple of people today and checked up with them. Greg Gagne, pray for Greg Gagne. He actually had a surgery today. I talked to him today. I talked to Danny. I talked to Doug Basham today. So just keeping relationships with the wrestlers to just really call and check up with them, that says a lot to wrestlers, because first of all, wrestlers don't have the opportunity to really have those relationships above people who are just fans. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to play the wrestler role to everybody else, because everybody's just fans to them a lot. But when you have someone in journalism to really maintain a relationship, check on them, and just make sure they're okay, a lot of wrestlers appreciate that. And people have said that to me many times, off air, how much they appreciate me maintaining just a relationship. I ain't asking you to be on my show. I'm just literally checking on you and making sure that you're okay. So they appreciate that. And so, God has just really blessed this show so much. Again, I appreciate Wrestling opening up the platform. Again, for those who are just joining, this will be the last PNP show on Wrestling Inc., on the Wrestling Inc. audio and video. GSP, yes, you did miss Nick, unfortunately. Glad you joined us, though. What's up, Eli? But again, this will be the last episode on the PNP. This will be the last PNP episode on Wrestling Inc. Now, as far as the the last PNP episode, absolutely not. PNP will go long and hard and strong and stronger than ever again. For those who are just joining, Raj and I, we discussed transitioning PNP out of the audio and video because Wrestling Inc. is getting inundated with new shows, so they're going to have Wink wrestling shows. And so because Wrestling wants to keep the brand, and PNP is my baby, it is I created it. Yes. I'm going to kill what I created. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to kill what I created. Me and the NWO. But no, again, but yeah, I appreciate Raj and Wrestling Inc. for giving me the platform the past year and a half. I've had so many good weeks with you all, and again, the PNP Nation is the PNP Nation. Again, the show is going on. Everything is good as far as the PNP show. We're actually, we have a bigger platform. We have an opportunity to have a bigger platform. But, yeah, I do respect the wishes of Raj as Wrestling Inc. is transitioning to more Wink-branded shows with all the shows that are coming up. PNP, since this is my baby, it's not a Wrestling Inc. podcast. Moving on to greener pastures, so it's going to be fun. So since we're here, and since this is the last podcast on the Wrestling Inc. Video and audio, we're going to have some fun, ladies and gentlemen. GSP is saying this is like Roman breaking away from the Shield. This is like Roman breaking away from the Shield. I like it, Chris. That's a really good way to put it. Thank you. Michael saying, Chris, I hope whatever platform you're on actually promotes you. I truly enjoy what you do. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Let's see. That's why that show is being on the yeah. Go ahead and share your thoughts, Ryan. Go ahead and share your thoughts, Evan.
Well, like I said, you and I, Chris, we talked off air. We do that all the time, every day. But like I said, the show was great, and in life, as my show, I had my own network. When I started in an actual radio studio, and then I was on 2 other networks before I started my own. But, it happens like that. Going to greener pastures, Raj is, we've known Raj for, you've known him just as long as I have. He's been a support to us. And like I said, it's, time to go on to greener pastures and go on to another promotion, if you will. Nothing but great things. Yep. And I also do want to say, on the serious note, for us keeping in touch with wrestlers, keep in prayer Brian Blair. I talked to him yesterday. Just had to get some minor surgery. Keep Terry Funk in prayer as well. No, Terry Funk is not dying. He's not. But as you may not know, he lost, of course, the love of his life. He lost his wife not long ago, and they've been together since junior high. Yeah. So I did, via text, and did chat with him and chat with a couple other legends, which I'm not going to mention their name. I'll tell you off air that mentioned, he's just going through the grieving process and, still taking it hard. When you love someone, you've known them since junior high and being married for all of those years, and not just being married for those many years, but knowing somebody before marriage. And when they go, that can be a big process. So just keep him up in your prayers. He has support. A lot of the boys have been checking on him. Florida boys, they checked on him this past weekend and keeping him up. He's just, just a little sad right now.
Yeah, rightfully so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, rightfully so. Absolutely. Prayers for Terry Funk and Brian Blair. Absolutely. Eli is asking, so this is the last time we're going to see you, Chris? No! Why? Absolutely not. Again, I will be, like I said, greener pastures. Right now, again, an awesome opportunities opened up for me. And once we get those things finalized, I still every week, audio and video. I will be on the Pancakes and Powerslams, the actual Crave Wrestling YouTube page. So everything you see now, it's the same format. It's all the video that you see now, you will see it. It will be on a different platform. It will be on my Crave Wrestling YouTube channel that you. That pops up there when the social media pops up on that side. You'll see the Crave Wrestling. It was just YouTube Crave Wrestling. Subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get the alerts. So we'll be there until everything gets finalized with the other platforms. So yeah, we're good. Everything is good. It's all good, man. It's actually a really, really good transition. Nothing bitter, an awesome transition, and I wish nothing but the best for Raj and Wrestling Inc. Man, it's been an awesome platform that's been opened up for me the past year and a half for having this on the video and the audio. So it's been awesome. So when it's one of those things where you have a door open, but God, you have a door closed, but God. So yeah, I have an awesome opportunity to move PMP over to an awesome platform. So that's going to happen, and Wink is going to be killing it. All the podcasts, there's a lot of podcasts that's going to be coming your way starting mid-September with all the wrestling that's going to come up. So Wink Wrestling Inc.'s going to keep killing it as they always do. Eli's asking, ask Chris with the. Go ahead, Evan.
No, I do have some breaking news. Do you want to mention here on Pancakes and Powerslams? DT Angry Mark, where of course, as you know, Chris, and you might listen to my show, you break news, of course, and it always comes true that Vince McMahon. This may not be much news to give it for the fans. Vince McMahon is scheduled and will be stepping down in his full-time position prior to Survivor Series. You can try to debate it, but every time myself, Angry Marcus, Broke News on Underdemand Radio, on PNP, it was kind of fruition. Of course, Chris, as you know that, we just got confirmation maybe about 5 minutes ago. So some people that's in the know may not be as big news to the fans. Vince McMahon, before Survivor Series, which is November, you can say like in the Survivor Series.
The Survivor Series.
He'll be stepping down, not saying he's leaving WWE, but he will be stepping down in his full-time role due to the XFL, due to a bunch of other things. That could be it, but that's what we can confirm right here on PNP, Pancakes and Powerslams. The last episode on Wink.
Yes.
And not the last episode overall. This is more like a season finale.
Yes.
The Wink season finale.
Season finale.
Not the series finale, but the season finale.
It's like a awesome show moving to another network. That's it. So that's the show will still be high quality. The show will be just as you see it, just moving to another network. That's all. You know where it's moving? You know what network it's moving to? The new TNT. Alley-oop, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Booker T. Let's see. So we got some good questions. GHP, will the pod still be on Tuesdays or moving to Friday with SmackDown? No! Tuesday. We, for 7.5 years, ladies and gentlemen, when SmackDown was taped on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, even when tape for SmackDown were taped, it has been solid Tuesday, 11 o'clock, and that is not going to change. So Tuesdays at 11. It still stays the same, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's see. I think that's it as far as the announcement is concerned. And again, guys, follow me at Chris Prolific, and I'll give you the link for PNP. PNP Nation has grown awesome, substantially over the past few years, and so I really, really appreciate y'all. You guys are so awesome. The best interactive podcast on the planet, and let's keep that up. Listen, I definitely need your support. You see the donate down there, where to donate, the Patreon information. So we definitely need your donation for Patreon, and go ahead and subscribe. There's the social media stuff right there. There's the Twitter, and then my YouTube should be popping up here as far as, there you go, Crave Wrestling YouTube. Boom. So go follow Crave Wrestling on YouTube. Also like the Facebook page for Crave Wrestling for updates as well. So there's plenty. So if you go to Crave Wrestling Facebook, like it, the link will be there. Link will be on YouTube. There's plenty of opportunities to know the information of where we're going to be going. So I'll definitely keep you updated with that. So, all right, some cool Ask Chris questions. Cody says, I don't wish injury on anyone, but do you feel Ambrose injury makes AllOut better? It's a good point. I'm certainly more excited for Pac versus Omega than Ambrose versus Omega. I'm more excited for Pac versus Omega too. I definitely am. It makes it better, to answer your question. Again, and I agree with you. I don't wish injury on anyone, for sure. I pray that the recovery is speedy. I think he was having some issues with MRSA. So I definitely wish speedy recovery for sure. But personally, I talked about that with some friends over text, and I said, personally, I prefer, I prefer Pac versus Omega for sure. Eli's asking, with the duo with Bobby Roode and Ziggler, are they trying to recreate a new DX and maybe some new guys to get a stable coming? No way. I think Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode are just simple fodder for Seth and Strowman. I mean, I don't see them being tag champs. I mean, they try to repackage Ziggler time after time after time after time, and yeah. Don't you go losing those gains from eating those Popeyes chicken sandwiches, GHP says. Oh no, I am still at it like crazy. Popeyes chicken sandwiches are sold out in Ohio, and I think it's sold. I think I just read an article that it's sold out nationwide now. So
it's not nationwide. It's not nationwide. It's sold out in a lot of places.
Yeah. Well, sold out nationwide. There's separate franchises that have them. But mostly every store now, because they just wrote an article. They just Popeyes actually just sent a tweet out with the video that just said, they just said that basically they didn't expect this to be so viral, so their supply lasted them to September. And so it's gone. Like their supply is totally gone. But I've only had two. I had a regular and a spicy. Had it last week, and I do.
Wait, you ate spicy Featherstone?
Eli says, "Chill, GHP. Chris doing good gain weight. Eat those salad and drink water." Oh yeah, listen, I am still like stupid in the gym. Like I live in the gym 5 days a week, like crazy. So I am like, yeah. Like
I saw you standing at them dumbbells.
Yeah, man.
You standing at them dumbbells at the Airbnb. You stayed at a Mania.
Yeah.
You know, we had time to hit the gym, so we had to hit the dumbbells.
Oh yeah, man. You know, yeah. Me and Evan stay together at WrestleMania Airbnb. As soon as I see any weights, I'm using them. So it's like,
yeah, you hit the dumbbells. So
yep.
Good enough.
We were in an Airbnb. Actually, that was one of the good things about the New York. I didn't like the experience in New York. It was my first time in the city, but I liked the Airbnb and I liked the food. So the traffic was just
New York,
horrible.
You was a New York virgin for the song.
I was a New York virgin. Yes,
and I was able to carry you through.
Yes. Yes, you did a good job. The traffic was horrible though. It was absolutely terrible. It was just bad. Now Jersey, the funny thing is I did some coverage at the Impact event. I did some media there Thursday night in Jersey. And the drive from New York to Jersey was actually pretty good. Jersey's fine, but
yeah.
New York was just it was bad. The MLW, I did MLW Thursday and Friday. Evan was with me Friday night, and that drive was just blah. And just the Airbnb was so frustrating. We had to circle around the block like 3 or 4 times just to get a parking spot in front of the Airbnb. And the parking was terrible. There was hardly any lots, and the lots were like ridiculous. And so I didn't park in any lots. It was like I saw specials of like $18 for like 30 minutes. I'm like, you call that a special? What in the world? What in the world? $18 for a half hour? Horrible.
That's how it is.
Yeah, but yeah, I won't. I you know what? I'm glad that I said that I could. I'm glad that I said that I've been to New York City, but I would be totally okay if I never go back. Buffalo, though, I've been to Buffalo. I love Buffalo. The leader said he's had only 2 as well. Same as you, spicy one better. Yeah, I've only had 2. So I'm cool. And I need the protein anyways to get these gains, bruh. Like you see that? Woo! I need all the protein. I'm a high protein guy, so I need that the chicken. So,
let's give a shout out.
Go ahead.
Let's give a shout out to the best chicken sandwich, the best spicy chicken sandwich out there now is Wendy's. People forget. Back in the day, anybody listening, you probably remember this. Depending on where you are, Chris, you're Ohio, you know it. I'm Baltimore. You had Hardee's and Roy Rogers. Back in the day, Hardee's had fried chicken. And back in the day, Wendy's had fried chicken. You'll be able to get Wendy's fried chicken. If you don't believe me, look it up. Now, they stopped selling the fried chicken. It was Purdue, I think about maybe the mid-'90s, late 90s. But Wendy's has the best for its fast food chain, spicy chicken sandwich there is. They're going to put it out there.
Man, I'm going to tell you. And real quick, Michael, yes, I'm not afraid to say this in the chat, but Chris, you're moving on as a part of the Lord's plan, and only great things will happen. Absolutely, amen to that. 100% agree with that. So here's the deal. Yeah. I think Popeye. I love Chick-Fil-A. I think Chick-Fil-A, and we ain't gonna get to none of that. We just listen. We got like 20 minutes left. We just gonna talk about Chick-fil-A. Ain't nothing to talk about anyways. I mean, we go to the flavor of the week, but Raw and SmackDown ain't.
Where am I from? Look, I'm from Baltimore. We got chicken boxes. We're the only place to get it, so we know about chicken. Yeah. And we're black, so that by default gives us the time to talk about chicken.
Yeah, you know. The funny thing is, I'm glad I was a part of the spicy. I mean, the chicken sandwich movement. I am not a fan at all of viral stuff. Like I didn't do the ice bucket challenge. I didn't do the old man face challenge. I didn't do any of that stuff. Like I'm just not into just viral social media stuff. But I was like, you know what? I'll do this because it's food. So I was like, you know what? I'll see. I'll taste it. Man, I'll tell you. I took a bite into that Popeyes classic chicken sandwich, ladies and gentlemen. And excuse the sniffing. I'm coming from sickness. I feel much better, thank God. But this weekend and yesterday was pretty bad. But I feel much better now, though. But I took a bite into that classic chicken sandwich, and I said, "Oh yeah, this is legit. This is absolutely legit." And no, I did not see the MTV Music Awards. Eli's asking that. No, but listen, I experienced that, and I said, you know, here's the deal. Popeye's chicken sandwich is better than Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich. But, you know, God gave me a word because Popeyes is like one of them things. Popeyes is like a blessing that God gives you that you just ain't ready for. Come on, somebody, say something. A blessing that God gives you that you just ain't ready for. And that's what happened to Popeyes. First of all, the customer service is still trash, and let's be honest. And it's unfortunate, but their customer service is still very bad. There's viral videos about, and we got to do better, guys. Come on. As a people, as a culture, I'm speaking to my culture here. Okay, we got to do better when it comes to customer service and when it comes to just overall experience. Okay, because I was seeing all types of viral videos of people fighting over a chicken sandwich, people throwing stuff at customer service because they were out of chicken sandwiches, like silly stuff, just stupid stuff. And I'm like, and then customer service, and then the customer service people just going crazy, you know, and just going all out the way, just acting just silly and stupid because this is the customer service. And so listen, all around customer experience, Chick-fil-A hands down. And the thing is, their food is really, really good. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, Popeyes got them beat chicken-wise. I mean, come on now. It's, you know, it's that down home cooking, man. It's that southern fried crispy. I sound like a black woman valet. Southern fried crispy. If you will. If my valet southern fried crispy, baby. But yeah, that's Popeyes, man. That's that Popeyes chicken sandwich get you that southern fried crispy, baby. And that's you feel it. You just feel it. It's an experience. So when you have Popeyes chicken. But you know what? And I had the spicy chicken too. I said I want to do the spicy chicken sandwich too. And the spicy chicken sandwich is just as good. It's amazing as all. It's absolutely amazing. But I was like, you know what? I'd be totally cool if I never had a Popeyes chicken sandwich again, because at the end of the day, you couldn't handle what you had, and it's one of those things. It's just a fad. I mean, Popeyes is, Popeyes was doing well as far as I know. They were doing well before this craze, so it's not like I don't think this chicken sandwich is just a make or break. It's just everything's a surplus. They saved over $23 million in dollars for advertising because it went viral. So you're saving Popeyes a lot of money to promote their stuff.
Almost 30.
Yeah. So
yeah.
and it's growing too. So that was $23 million as of last week. So it's growing more and more and more. So Popeye's chicken sandwich I think beats Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich. I think it beats it by a lot. I think it's amazing. But at the end of the day, my butt is going straight over to Chick-fil-A because their experience is amazing, and it's so pleasant and it's so harmonious. And they play Christian instrumental music, from Third Day, and and it's just so awesome. It's just I just feel fuzzy inside when I go to Chick-fil-A. So, and I like that experience. Customer experience takes you a long way. It's one of those things. What's that saying? Your gift will make room for you. The gift. What is it? Something that your character can't. What is that saying? Your gift will make room for you.
Will make room for you.
Yeah, but that's the scripture. But it's something about like something can take you where your character gotta keep it or something like that. As far as like your gift, the point is you got a talent, you got something, here at Popeyes, but your character is what's going to keep you, going to sustain it, and want to maintain it. And if that customer service ain't legit, like it don't matter. You ain't gonna be getting my money and a lot of other people's money if your customer service don't want to come back to the experience. So, all right. So we got a few minutes left. Let's hit these headlines real quick. Sign Chris to be a Devon pastor. I love it. Vince voice, Chris. There you go. Well, you know what? I prefer Chick-fil-A because I was friends with the founder's uncle. I had a deal with him, and he actually was thinking about buying a share for the WWE. But he said, you know what? I'm not going to buy into the WWE. I'm going to buy into the XFL. There you go.
When did the XFL come off a chicken sandwich? The
XFL sponsored by Popeyes Chicken.
Chicken sandwich. That's good. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, everybody in this arena gets a free Popeyes Chicken.
It's all about the money. Don't get a jerk off. Get a chicken sandwich on our intro.
Take that, Chick-fil-A. Oh man.
You know who I am, Chick-fil-A. You're fired.
Oh, you didn't want to buy a share for the WWE. Well, all of you want to eat Popeyes Chicken tonight. Walk up to the XFL. Oh man! All right, we gotta go.
You want to share? You want to share now, Chick-fil-A? Get out of here, you nuggets. That's trash. I need a piece. Wait up, Wendy's. I need a piece. That's chicken. Yeah.
Oh man! All right, let's get into these headlines. All right, so we're gonna be quick, guys. We don't have much time left, so let's hit these headlines. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Headlines. Here we go. Chris, get ready for Vince to rewrite X. Oh yes. Oh, Eli. Yes, you get the applause for tonight. That was really good. Get ready for Vince. Eli says, "Oh man, Chris, get ready for Vince to rewrite XFL." Michael says his cheeks hurt.
You already know. You already know what's going to be sponsored.
Yeah.
IcoPro making a comeback.
Yes, IcoPro is going to be making a comeback. All right, so let's be real quick with these headlines because we got to get to the Flavor of the Week. Flavor of the Week is the top 5. We're going to be quick. Yes, I do hear retired NFL. Andrew Luck did. Andrew Luck retired from the Colts. Evan and I were going to talk about our top 5 King of the Ring winners who actually portrayed the King gimmick the best. Now you have Austin and things like that. He didn't really do a King gimmick, and we have like people who actually were King in the ring, who didn't really do a King thing. You know, they really didn't use it as a King role to actually really transform their gimmick as a King. So tonight we're going to talk about the top 5 King of the Ring winners who actually did the King gimmick the best. So that should be pretty interesting. Since we're running out of time, let's zoom through these headlines real quick. Okay, so as you see, Bray Wyatt's very ugly looking creepy faces right there under the mask. So yeah, there's basically there was an announcement by who tweeted it? It was the Golden One Center where Hell in a Cell is going to be. It says, "Get ready, WWE fans! The Fiend Bray Wyatt challenges WWE Seth Rollins or Braun Strowman to a Hell in a Cell match." So it's promoting the Hell in a Cell match in Sacramento. And it's saying that, that Bray Wyatt as the Fiend is going to be a part of it. So there's the spoiler, ladies and gentlemen. That's crazy to me. And so here's my thing real quick, and we don't have much time. Here's my quick thought on it. I think that this is way, way premature for the Fiend. And I don't like when WWE does that. I don't like the fact that they hotshot stuff so much. Give some stuff some time. Allow a character to really mature and grow. They do things premature too much, man. And that's really hurt Sheamus for most of his career when they hotshot him to become champ like 3 months after, 2 months. 2 months after he came from ECW to to the main roster brands, Raw and SmackDown. It's like you hotshot stuff like that, and he's still at a point where he got more championships and things like that, but his character never really got an opportunity to mature. You got to let this Fiend character mature. You finally get an opportunity where you break Bray Wyatt away from a character that was so hurting, so struggling, that was just really damaged goods. And then you turn around and you hotshot him again. And the thing is, you don't want to, in my opinion, you don't want to make him champ because it would be way too soon. Allow his character to develop, and you don't want him to lose either. So it's to me, it's not a great move at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
you're doing it too quick. Let it. I mean, when Taker debuted, Taker didn't get a title shot till a year later.
Yeah.
Anybody that had a great new gimmick, look at Goldberg. Look at anything. Sting, when he got, Sting, it still took him a couple of years doing the Surface Sting, and then when he was pro, it was a year and a half where he even touched Hogan and got to fight him. Anybody, Warrior didn't become champ right away. It's that whole build. You remember when, there was the Rumble 91. So the Rumble 90, I think it was 91 to 90 when Hogan and Warrior finally faced off. That was a powerful moment.
Yep.
Because
That
they
was
built
90
it up.
leading into Toronto. Yep.
90, right.
Yeah.
Right. That was huge. Taker and Michaels. And they finally did the little back and forth at the Rumble, the one Taker one.
Yeah.
It's build up, man. It's, I don't know. They're going to kill it again. They're going to kill Bray. And he should not be in no title picture until probably Mania. Will probably by SummerSlam next year. You got to build that. Have him beat up a bunch of other people. He don't even need a title. He's a character. He doesn't need a title. He's over because of his character. He doesn't need one. But
yeah, of course. Of course, he wants the title, but I think you got to give him some time. Definitely give him some time. All right, let's move on. Next, we got Apollo. My boy. It's my boy. Apollo Crews guy. So he's interviewed by The Rap, and he talked about, he threw, he didn't really throw shade because, WWE got to clear all these things, but he did share some things. He didn't really, he's still with WWE, so he didn't want to go too far as how he felt, but he did say this. I quoted from the Rap. He said, "I wanted to come in here and shock the world, I guess you could say. I felt like I would have done much more at this moment in my career." And then he patched it up in WWE style. He says, but I'm still young. I'm about to be 32, and this was last week, so, he had a birthday already. And there's still a lot of time. I'm still very patient and understanding in how the process works. I trust the process. Now, to me, that just sounds the last part, the latter part just sounded like a bunch of gibberish, to be honest with you. I think the first part is what he really feels, is the actuality of what he really feels. And, I just – you can tell that's kind of like the tone with a lot of the wrestlers. And, Apollo Crews is so good, man. That's my guy. Apollo Crews is just so good. And I've said this before, man. I think he should be a top player in NXT. He went back and he lost. He went back just to lose to Kushida. But I don't know, man. I don't even think a mouthpiece can really save Apollo Crews at this point. If I was up to me, I would bring it back to NXT. Allow him to have that type of indie type of feel to him. He's so good in the ring. There's certain people, I'm characters, but certain people, their character is actually in the ring. And I think Apollo is so good as a character that he can tell stories in his matches. And sometimes the character is the silent assassin type of person. The person who doesn't need to say much but impresses people without having a lot of mic work. So, man, give him a chance. Give Apollo a chance, man. And it's sad that WWE is just poorly using him. It's terrible.
No, I agree. Apollo Crews looks like your black uncle. Just nice. Everybody got an uncle or somebody in the family that's like a former bodybuilder, uncle, or, this nice looking dude that smiles all the time. But he's a good hand. He's just in WWE is the land of the giants, and he just give him a title shot, man. Give him something. He's just being wasted, so he needs to go to. I think Vince don't decide to be better and hold him for 10 months. Now would be the perfect time. He'll do great at AEW. He'll do great in ROH, even Impact.
Yeah.
People forget. Look at McIntyre. McIntyre's big, but it really took McIntyre like that Impact run. Really pushed him.
Yep.
Before he went back to. And this show was the last show. You literally interviewed McIntyre the week of when he debuted in NXT.
Yep. Right
before he went back to So that's all he needs.
Yeah, I see, and this is what I would like actually. I would like now if you turn him heel, and I'm not a big fan of like just turn him heel. Like I don't like that. But I don't like the Sami Zayn Shinsuke pairing. It's not clicking with me. But this is a pairing that I would like. This would be an NXT pairing that I would like. Now, Sammy teases a team to debut in NXT to go against the Street Profits or whoever is going to have the title. And Sami Zayn, or he didn't have to debut. He didn't have to tease it. Sami Zayn just goes on the first NXT episode the day of, surprises everybody, and teases a team on the episode, the same day of the episode. And then you have like the main event probably be Street Profits defeating the Undisputed Era, to retain the tag titles or something like that. And then, boom, you have Lashley and Apollo Crews just take them out. And there's your new heel tag team, Lashley and Apollo Crews, managed by Sami Zayn. And of course, Sami Zayn could be a good mouthpiece for both Lashley and Apollo Crews because both of them need a mouthpiece. And I think I like Sam in this manager role too because, they're not going to do a thing with them. They're just going to have him job out. So I like him in a more of a manager mouthpiece role. So I think that would be absolutely amazing if you have Sami Zayn manage the team of Apollo and Bobby Lashley as a team, and they go against and they go against Street Profits. Although I like the Street Profits a lot, though, but yeah, I think that would be a good way to do it. All right, so real quick, AEW. So Dave Meltzer said that AEW aren't working with New Japan right now, and so of course you have your normals, Jericho's, your Moxley's, but he actually said tweeted that other people aren't working with New Japan right now. So I don't know. I think I understand because they want to have that feel of having a big feel as far as being like a legit number 2 competitor. But a partnership with, to me, just their roster isn't strong enough to me. The question was asking, are AEW okay to allow their wrestlers to work with New Japan in the U.S. if there was a deal made between the two companies, or is that a sticking point between the two? And Meltzer said not at the present time. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of them not working together, but I do get it, though. I do get it that AEW wants to have that legit number 2 feel. But at the same time, it's like I just don't see a strong enough roster to really hang, as a legit number 2 kind of mega empire type of feel to them. They still have a lot of indie gimmicky talent that's good for, a period of time. But I don't know. I'm personally, I'm just not so yet as far as just their talent roster. And I hope that's and I think that a partnership with New Japan would be awesome, but like I said, I can see why they're not doing it because of their TNT deal and their quest to have like a big feel. So, all right, yeah. Real quick, go ahead, Evan. And while Evan's talking, real quick, guys, give me your Raw and SmackDown SmackDown grades as Evan's talking.
No, I'll just say I agree with you. You said Lashley and Apollo Crews would be great. AEW not working with New Japan. New Japan already has a deal with RH. So, and I feel AEW will be great. Remember, AEW never said it was trying to compete with WWE. All they said up their mouth is they wanted to be the alternate. We had the press releases. We heard Daddy Khan, and we call him Shao Kahn. We done heard Shao Kahn mention it. We done heard Khan Jr., Tony mention it, the Bucks, all of them. So I'm with you, Chris. I love AEW. We have friends that work there. I got a buddy who's going to be, I think, a referee there. Not going to mention his name because I don't know if he wants to say, like, public. He's out there, but I don't want to say his name just yet. We hope it goes well, but they don't have the roster yet. Mm-hmm. It takes time, but they definitely have the talent, and I can't wait. But we're going to be on overload.
Yeah,
gosh,
definitely.
Was it? But when fall hit and AEW debuts the day after my birthday,
wow,
the 2nd.
Yeah.
By that time, was it 13 hours of wrestling a week?
That's
16.
Crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, Raw, SmackDown, AEW. NXT, Ring of Honor, NWA, MLW's trying to get a deal.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yep. GHP, so I don't believe that they want to surprise WWE. They're just eating humble pie right now. Yeah, I could definitely see that. All right, so we got a roll, guys. Excuse me. All right, so real quick, SmackDown grades. Let's see. I think there was a Chris Cesaro's coming out. NXT UK and Triple H allow the main roster guys to have freedom. Cesaro to NXT UK would be very, very interesting. I would be interesting. Yeah, they blocked you. You got hidden because of the hashtag. So, but I released that. All right, so we got to roll, guys. We only got a couple minutes. I'm gonna give you a trivia real quick. Who did Hulk Hogan compete against at WrestleMania 2? All right, C and D for GHP. B and B for Brandon. SmackDown C. Raw B for Michael. Eli. Raw 5. SmackDown 7. Just C minus for Raw. It was just a bland show for me, and so was SmackDown. It was like a C minus for both. Probably C, solid C for SmackDown. I liked the Orton thing, but I didn't like the fact there were physicality. So,
I agree.
I see incorrect answers so far with that. All right, so we got a couple minutes, so we got to zoom. Let's do the flavor of the week real quick.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
King Kong Bunny, good job, Brandon. All right, we got a couple minutes, Evan, like a minute and a half, so give me your top 5 real quick.
All right, top 5, Billy Gunn. This is a joke. Just sticking around. The worst king in the ring ever. Number 5, King Regal. Number 4, King Mabel. Number 3, King Bird. I got some bad news for you, which was great. Number 2, of course, the King of Hearts, Owen Hart. And number 1, the best King gimmick of all time. A shout out to the great Harley Race, honorable mention. I interviewed him. God rest your soul. But the great King Booker in the court.
All right, number 5 is King Mabel for me. Number 4 is King Harley Race. Number 3 is Owen Hart, the King of Hearts. Number 2 is the Macho King, Randy Savage. Yeah. And then number 1 is
90 seconds.
I love number 1. You gotta love it. Booker T, King Booker. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Booker. It's the grace. This is the grace. He said he actually pulled a lot from Randy Savage.
Get him there doing some chicken sandwich.
Yeah, Randy Savage won the King of the Ring in 1987. All right.
60
all right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a wonderful show tonight. Again, this will be it for me at Wrestling Inc. as far as the platform is concerned. It's been a good ride. I've had a fun time. The show must go on to another station, another channel. Follow me at Chris Prolific for all the wonderful details that entails. We will be back next week on the Crave Wrestling channel. Back here, same time, same channel, same everything. So nothing's going to change in that regard. So we're going to have a lot of fun with the PNP Nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Evan Tech Pro Under Matt Radio, it's time to land the plane. 387 episodes in the books. I am Chris Featherstone. Until next week, always remember, enjoy where you're wrestling. God bless. And remember, I do it for you. God bless. Bye-bye.
Good, everybody.